themselves another point closer to catching up to the Panthers here, trailing Central Springs 10-7. And Riley Miller will continue serving for the Indians, overtaken by Central Springs. McDonough will send this one to Crum, who's playing the right side, blocked by Forest City, as Bethany Warren and Jalen Hovinga will find a big block there for the Indians. Timeout, Central Springs, 10-8 is the lead. Forest City back to within 2. We'll take a break and come back in 1 minute.
Top Dead Center Truck Equipment of Forest City. Top Dead Center is a full-line Western dealer with blades and snow control equipment. They also carry truck accessories of all kinds, fifth wheel hitches, LED lights, and more. Call 641-512-5529. Top Dead Center Truck Equipment of Forest City.
WCTA is committed to providing local phone service, high-speed internet, and the most reliable digital TV. They proudly support local schools, events, and charities. Their employees are your friends and neighbors who live and work in your community. WCTA is your local telecommunications cooperative.
On KIOW and online at KIOW.com.
KIOW and live at KIOW.com. Zerna Gastel with you here from Central Springs, Manly, Iowa tonight as Forest City back to within 2. The Panthers here in Forest City will take a free ball as Page just sets to send it over the net. Kraft will set it up to Hovinga, who sends a strike over. McDonough will set now for the Panthers. Crum, free ball to the Forest City side. Here comes Kraft. Hovinga keeps it alive. Over the net and it lands in. I don't know how she did it, but Jalen Hovinga, a magic miracle worker there as she sends that one over the net. Hits off the top of the net and lands in. 10-9, Forest City back to within 1. And Riley Miller will go back to serve here for the Indians. 5'5" sophomore will serve and send it over the net. Taken by the Panthers. McDonough will set it up to Crum. It's a Forest City point. A lift is going to be called on McDonough, and the Indians have come all the way back. They trailed by 7 at one point. They now are tied with Central Springs 10-10 here in the first set. We're tied 10-10. Set number 1. Riley Miller will continue to serve. The sophomore sends it over the net, taken by Ryan. Crum trying to keep it alive. Now McDonough will have to send it over a free ball. Kraft set up by Jerome. Here comes Colette Logus. She'll send that one long, and it's a point for Central Springs. They lead once again 11-10. So 11-10 is the lead here for Central Springs. And Casey Crum will go back to serve. 82%, 34 aces on the year for Crum. And she comes across, heavy serve taken by Brooklyn Kraft. Jerome will set now to Hovinga, trying to go after it, but Hovinga lands into the net. Going after it, and it will be a net violation. The ball did come down to the floor, so we're waiting to see the official was calling the net violation or if that went into the floor, but it was a net violation. Now 12-10 is the lead here for Central Springs. And again, Crum will send a dangerous serve over 82%, so she does commit serving errors, but has 34 aces, so she compensates her errors with a lot of aces, and that will be a strike and a successful attack for Abby Pate. The 5'8" senior right side will send one down, over 140 kills for her this season. 13-10 is now the lead for Central Springs as Forest City trailed by as much as 7. Got it back tied at 10-10. Now 3 straight for the Panthers, and there's Crum sending one long. That's the errors we do see out of her, and she sends it over the entire court to the back wall. A point for Forest City back to within 2. 13-11, Forest City back to within 2, and Jalen Hovinga will serve. Hovinga over the net. Prozak. Here's an attack and a kill for Central Springs. That was the junior Heft, 6'2". She sings it over. So Heft on the serve, and now McDonough are on the kill. Now McDonough will go back to serve. Zari McDonough sends it over, taken by Forest City in the middle. Blocked by Forest City, kept alive by Jerome. Here's Colette Loga. She sends it over. Carly Ryan takes for Central Springs. Shift for Central Springs, sends it to the Forest City side. Now Jerome is blocked. Kept alive by Forest City. Jerome on another attack. It's tipped by Central Springs, kept alive by the Panthers. McDonough Back row, Central Springs, now to the Forest City back row. Jerome will have to go over with it. Again to the Central Springs back row. That's Prozac. Here's an attack by the Panthers, kept alive by the Indians, and no, it goes out. Great effort by the junior Emma Anderson as she laid out for that one, was able to get over the net, but it goes on a bounds on her attempt to free ball that one for Forest City, and it'll be a point for Central Springs, and they lead now 15-11. And McDonough will continue to serve. McDonough 93.7 in her sophomore year serving for the Panthers. Here's an attack for Jaden Jerome, and that's going to get down the line and in for a kill for Jerome. Jaden Jerome has over 180 kills on the year for the Indians, hitting .255. 15-12 is the lead. Forest City trails by 3 as Colette Logus will go back to serve. Logus sends it over, taken by Central Springs. They're going to set it up to Pate, and it's blocked, but it blocked in on the Forest City side, so Pate will have another kill. And Central Springs will continue to lead. This time it's 16-12 here in the first set. Who's going to win this first set? We'll find out. Only time will tell. Serve coming here for the Panthers. It's Ryan. Sends it over, taken by Carly Lambert. Now Bethany Warren, and it's going to be Warren into the net. So a net violation on Bethany Warren, and now 17-12 is the lead here for Central Springs as the Panthers lead by 5. They've led throughout. Central Springs says we've been tied at once and 0. That was at 10-10. Here's an attack for Jaden Jerome. Blocked by Central Springs, and they'll get a chance. No, they're going to call a lift on McDonough. Second of the set here for the setter for Central Springs. Has had a really good year setting for the Panthers. Over 640 assists on the season in her sophomore year. Emma Anderson serves for Forest City. McDonough will set it up. Setting it to the right side. Now Jerome with an attack, and it's a Central Springs point as Jerome attacked it from out of bounds and behind the antenna or the pin. And a point for Central Springs makes it 18-13. Here's an attack here for Forest City. It's Jerome pushes it over, taken by Central Springs Ryan. McDonough to Crum, kept alive by Forest City. Here's Carly Lambert, and she sends it into the net. Point for the Panthers, 19-13. 19-13 is the lead for Central Springs. Timeout Forest City, 19-13. We'll come back in 1 minute for more volleyball here on KIOW.
Kingland Construction Services is a proud supporter of trades-based education programs like apprenticeships, the Building Trades Academy at the John V. Hansen Career Center, and internships through NIAC. These programs also have debt-free options available. Find out more by calling Kingland Construction Services at 641-585-0101.
Forest City Family Dentistry, downtown on J Street. Dr. Layla can now place crowns in one visit. No clumsy temporary or return appointment needed. Also ask us about replacing missing teeth with affordable dental implants. Visit the place that puts a smile on your face. Forest City Family Dentistry. Call 585-4636.
You're listening to Indian Sports on KIOW and online at KIOW.com.
Welcome back here on KIOW and live. As Central Springs and Forest City. An attack by the Indians is taken by Central Springs. Now the Panthers want the free ball to the Forest City side. Hovinga will set it up to Carly Lambert, and she's got a kill. Carly Lambert with a big strike there for Forest City, and a kill for the Indians senior. And she's able to wind up from the right side, and Forest City back to within 5. The Indians looking for a comeback here in this first set. Trailing 19-14. Jerome will send this over and over the net. It's going to be an ace serve for Jaden Jerome. The Indians averaging about 6 ace serves per set, finding their first one here. And Jerome gets 147 now on the season for the team. Jerome has 32 of those for Forest City, and they're back to within 4. Forest City is still in striking distance here in this set. Colette Logus colliding with the back wall. Now Emma Anderson, is it over? Yes, it is. Colette Logus climbed the wall to keep it alive, and Emma Anderson had a big strike. Now Forest City with a chance to kill it. Kept alive by Ryan. Here's a chance for Central Springs. They put it over. Colette Logus from the back row. Jerome will set it up to Hovinga. Can she get a big kill? She cannot. Central Springs keeps it alive. And Crum will free ball it. Here's Colette Logus to Jerome. Set up by Forest City is going to get the point. It's going to be a kill for the Indians. So a wild point goes to Forest City as Hovinga finds a kill for Forest City. And it's now 19-16. Again, Forest City still very in this set. They seem to keep getting points and climbing towards Central Springs. All important first set. Who's going to win it? 19-16 right now in favor of Central Springs. Forest City serving, though. Has some momentum after that wild point. And Anderson with a block for Forest City. Can Central Springs keep it alive? They can. Indians will have a chance in an attack, though. It's Carly Lambert over, dug out by the Panthers. Ryan, free ball to the Forest City side and an overpass. Here's a chance now for Hovinga. McDonough keeps it alive now. Ryan. Prozac blocked by Forest City. Indians will have a chance at attack. Right side, Carly Lambert sends it over. It is Ryan for Central Springs, and Crum sends it straight to the floor. They got it set up perfectly to Crum, who stands at 6'2". She towers over the net. State track participant for Central Springs this year, 6'2" sophomore. And she slams that one to the floor, and Central Springs now leads by 4. It's 20-16, Panthers. And Prozac, that shift, who will serve, and she sends it long. Forest City back to within 3. So Quinn Shift, 5'8" sophomore. You're going to hear sophomore a lot. A lot of these girls on this team are sophomores. And the ones that are getting meaningful time, the setter, McDonough, sophomore. Crum, the main hitter, sophomore. Prozac, we've heard her name quite a bit tonight. Sophomore. Shift, sophomore. Here's an opportunity for Central Springs, kept alive by Forest City, and the Indians will have to free ball over to the Central Springs side. Kept alive by the Panthers. Here's a chance from way out of bounds. Kept alive there by the Panthers. It's Prozac. Hovinga winds up in Forest City within 2. So the Indians have got it back to within 2 on a big kill by Jalen Hovinga, now 20-18. And Forest City will send one of their more reliable servers, Brooklyn Kraft, back to send this one over 94.6% this year. Taken by Ryan. McDonough will set to Crum. Crum with an attack, and it's dug out by the Indians, but into the third row of the bleachers. Point Central Springs, 21-18. Forest City within 3. Indians are still in striking distance, and Forest City has used all of their timeouts here in this set. So they no longer can kill Central Springs' momentum. They have used all their timeouts. Taken by Kraft. Now Jerome. Here's Hovinga on a strike. Central Springs, Pate sends it well long, and Forest City back to within 2 again. They got it set up to the senior Abby Pate. Plays the right side, 77th set of the year, has over 140 kills this season, and she sends it long. Speaking of sophomores, it's going to be up to Forest City sophomore now. Riley Miller, the 5'5" sophomore, will serve here for the Indians. 2 steps, sends it over the net. Taken by Central Springs. McDonough will set it up. Pate will just have the free ball to the Forest City side. Now the Indians will have an opportunity to attack. Here's Hovinga on a big strike. Top of the net taken by Central Springs. McDonough to Crum. Crum just tries to dump it over quickly. Riley Miller now Brooklyn Kraft free ball to the Central Springs side. McDonough will set it up to the right side. Pate blocked by Forest City, but it comes right back to the Forest City side. Here's Hovinga with an attack. From the back row, Prozac. They'll set, it's going to be a double hit, I believe. No, the lift is going to be called instead. Pardon me. A lift is called to McDonough, the third called on McDonough in this set, in Forest City within 1 here on a crucial point of the set. This is big for Forest City. They're trying to get some experience in these big games heading to the postseason. They know they've got a tough one in the first round at Clear Lake. We'll talk more about that later on. Pate sends it out, and Forest City has tied it at 21-21. Here come the Indians. Timeout, Central Springs, 21-21. We'll come back in 1 minute for more volleyball.
MBT Bank, with 10 locations across northern Iowa and southern Minnesota. A full-service community bank with checking and savings accounts, CDs, lending, and trust services. Where will you go with MBT? MBTBank.bank, member FDIC.
The Farmers Co-op of Forest City, Leyland, New Buffalo Center, Iowa, and Keystone, Minnesota. For all your feed, seed, fertilizer, chemical, and fuel needs, see the Farmers Co-op, serving the area since 1916. Good luck to area athletes from the Farmers Co-op Association.
You're listening to Indian Sports on KIOW and online at KIOW.com.
Welcome back here on KIOW and live at KIOW.com. 21-21, Forest City has trailed by as much as 7, and they have trailed by over 5 twice in this set. But when it comes to it, 21-21, the Indians have clutched up and have knotted this match up. Now Forest City trying to take their first lead. Here's Crum, just has to free ball to the Forest City side. Now the Indians will be able to set up for an attack in the middle. Bethany Warren does a great job and puts it down. First lead for Forest City in this set comes with 3 points until the set is over. And Forest City leads 22-21. You get it into the middle of the sophomore 5'10 for Forest City, Bethany Warren, and she does a good job of putting it down, as she always does. And Forest City leads for the first time. Here's Crum now for Central Springs, and she kills it. So from one big to the other big, as a 6'2" sophomore for Central Springs, Casey Crum, is able to find a kill, and now she's going to go back to serve. Again, one of those times for Crum. She has a ton of aces, but also a ton of errors this year serving. 22-22. And she errors into the net. Forest City leads 23-22. And Crum will come out, and they'll send their defensive specialist, Carly Ryan, back in, the libero. And now Hovinga will serve for Forest City. Hovinga 2-step, sends it over the net. Prozac, McDonough sets, it's Pate who will go over. Taken by Hovinga. Anderson will bump set this one to Jaden Jerome over, and that's a kill. Forest City is 1 point away. After the Indians trailed by as much as they did in this set, Forest City is now 1 point away from taking the set. 24-22 Indians. And Jalen Hovinga will continue to serve here for Forest City. Jalen Hovinga serving for the Indians. 94% this year with 40 aces. Has been one of the best in the top of Iowa Conference. And it's going to be a point for Forest City. It's over a lift on Central Springs. Point Indians 25-22 will be the final in the set. 25-22. Forest City trails by 7 once. They trail by over 5 twice. But they persevere and come back and win the first set 25-22. That's some good momentum there for Forest City. Now going into our second set, brought to you tonight by A&W Family Restaurants in Forest City. Right now is a great time for a break with a tasty A&W treat. Root beer float, shakes, polar swirls, and more. See them on Highway 69 North in Forest City. A&W is the sponsor of our second set. We'll have the A&W second set for you in 2 minutes.
Burgers, cheese curds, onion rings, chicken tenders, and more available daily from 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. Finish your meal with a tasty root beer float, shake, polar swirl, or soft serve ice cream. A&W, where the food is as good as the root beer. Highway 69 North in Forest City.
Waldorf University in Forest City. With scholarships available up to full tuition, athletics, fine arts, and over 35 clubs and organizations, you'll have the opportunity to find your passion while getting a world-class education. On campus or online, find support from a community that makes you feel at home. Find out more today at waldorf.edu.
Advanced Door Systems of Forest City. Advanced Door Systems is your Raynor and CHI overhead door dealer. They also service any make or model of overhead door. Call 641-585-1900 to see them online at ads-doors.com. Advanced Door Systems, the right door, the right way.
The Super Bowl at Forest City is open nightly for League and Open Bowling, with Cosmic Bowling Friday and Saturday nights, with karaoke Saturday nights as well. Enjoy food from the grill or delicious Bucchese pizza to complete your experience. The Super Bowl, Highway 9 East, Forest City.
Larson Plumbing, Heating of Fertile is your Lennox dealer. They offer energy-efficient Lennox heating and air conditioning solutions for homes and businesses of all sizes. For complete plumbing service, call 797-2219 today. Larson Plumbing, Heating of Fertile, your Lennox dealer. Missile Insurance and Realty of Forest City. Whether buying or selling a home, Tim Missile and Pat Levick have the market experience to help you follow your dream. Missile Insurance and Realty can help you insure that dream once you find it. Missile Insurance and Realty in Forest City. Call 641-582-3554.
Holland Contracting in Forest City. For earth moving, Varco Pruden metal buildings, farm drainage, directional drilling, demolition, tire shop, and more. Call the construction experts at 641-585-2231. Holland Contracting in Forest City, dedicated to making the region a better place, one project at a time.
You're listening to Forest City Indian Sports on Mix 107.3 KIOW and online at KIOW.com.
Welcome back here on KIOW and live at second set today, brought to you by A&W Family Restaurants in Forest City. And we talked about postseason. Well, both of these two teams will open up their postseason on the 19th. Forest City opens up on the 17th at Clear Lake. The Indians are the 5 seed. Clear Lake is the 4 seed. That decided by the match that those two teams played a couple of nights ago. So Forest City will go to Clear Lake on the 17th. We'll have that for you. Central Springs, on the other hand, has done enough to host the first round. They will host Appleton Parkersburg on the 19th, and the winner of that will play at Denver, one of the best teams you're going to find here in Iowa in Class 2A. So that's what both teams' postseason playoff looks like. And, of course, you can see that full online at KIOW.com. If you go to local sports and scroll down to the postseason matchups, high school volleyball postseason matchups, you'll be able to find that entire story that has all of the matchups and where each winner will play in the second round. Forest City will serve first as the Indians come back to win that first set, and maybe a little momentum for Forest City. The Indians like to have that go into the post, and they trailed 8-1 at one point in that set. Tied it up at 10-10 and then fell behind by 5 before they were able to win 25-22. And Prozac for Central Springs sends it over. Forest City will get a chance as Carly Lambert will attack it into the net. 1-0 is the lead for Central Springs. Again, we start here in the second set with Central Springs leading the Indians 1-0. On the road, Forest City is tonight at Central Springs. The last 4 between these two teams have gone 5, so if history repeats itself, we could be in for a long night of volleyball tonight. That one sent into the net. Forest City will attack 2 straight into the net. And it's now 2-0 Central Springs as the Central Springs student section's trying to get into it. Serving is Shift. And she'll send it long. That's an error on her. As a team, they serve 89%. A lot of serving errors this year for Central Springs. Forest City 92% as a team, so about 3, almost 4% better for Forest City if you dig into the points that go along with that. When it comes to serving, Brooklyn Kraft, one of Forest City's top servers, serves now. Central Springs will return. Wasn't easy, and now the set goes where nobody is at, and it's a point for Central Springs. So all Panthers points so far is actually all points so far for both teams. All 4 have been errors. Central Springs' serving error gave Forest City their 1 point, and Forest City has committed 3 errors that have given Central Springs all of their points so far. And here's a point for Forest City, will be a lift, so another error on a team. 5 points now for either team. And volleyball is just one of those games where it's not forgiving. When it comes to other sports like basketball, let's say you miss a bunch of shots in basketball, it doesn't give your opponent any points. It doesn't mean that your opponent's going to win. You could go 0 for 100 and your team could still win. In volleyball, if you go 0 for 100, it's going to be hard for your team to win because the other team gets points every time. Forest City into the net. Another error and another point for Central Springs. 6 straight points on errors for both teams, and it's 4-2 Central Springs leading. Now, I didn't come up with that reference. Of course, the great volleyball mind, 31st year head coach Jim Beamer said that one to me one time in an interview. That makes total sense. Volleyball is a very unforgiving game. Here's an attack for Jalen Hovinga, dug out there by Central Springs. Kept alive. Here's Prozac, another error. Oh, man. Got the line judge. The line judge threw her flag trying to get out of the way of that volleyball, and it still got her. And she laughs about it with our head official. Sarah Tyne is our R1 in the stand tonight. Dave Minders is the R2. He's doing a substitution right now, as Central Springs will bring in Abby Pippert. Sophomore outside header Abby Pippert is in for the Panthers. And it'll be an ace serve for Jalen Hovinga. It teetered over the top of the net. It lands in. An ace serve, and finally a point there on an attack by a team, as Jalen Hovinga will find an ace serve for Forest City. Hovinga leads the team, her 41st ace of the year. And now the Indians trying to get another point. We're tied 4-4 here in the second set. Sent over there by Heft for Central Springs. Jerome will send it over. Dug out in the back row. McDonough will set. Attack for the Panthers. Jalen Hovinga will set it up to Jerome, who slams it to the floor. Jaden Jerome with an attack and a kill for Forest City, and the Indians now lead here in set number 2, 5-4. So Forest City has come back once again after trailing 3-1 and have scored 4 of the last 5 points. Hovinga nearly another ace, but Central Springs will get an attack on it. It'll be Heft with a kill. Now the girls are getting into it as Heft will find a kill. Over 120 kills for Heft this year. Finds her first of the set, playing in her 78th set of this season. 5-5 is the lead, or is the score now. We're tied up. Hovinga. Taken by Central Springs. No, it's a point for Forest City. Make it now 6-5. Forest City in the lead over Central Springs, as the Indians lead for the first time in this one. And the Indians, Colette Logus will serve. Comes all the way back on an overpass to Jaden Jerome, and she sends it to the floor. Overpass right back to Jerome, and she's able to find a kill for Forest City to make it now 7-5, Indians by 2. As Colette Logus will continue serving for Forest City. 7-5 is the lead. It's going to be an ace serve for Colette Logus. Colette Logus will find an ace, and Forest City is starting to get into their groove. Indians coming off a tough non-conference loss, actually back-to-back here on KIOW after the loss to Lake Mills in the conference finals, and then a loss to Clear Lake in that last non-conference game. Forest City now finding their groove, leading 8-5. Here comes Anderson, blocked by Central Springs. Point here for the Panthers as a double hit is called on Hovinga. So Hovinga will be called for the double hit. 8-6. Forest City leads by 2 over Central Springs. And it'll be Ryan, the 5'5 junior, who will go back and serve for Central Springs. So Ryan will go back to serve, taken by Colette Logus. Set in the middle to Carly Lambert. She sends it over. McDonough will receive for Central Springs. Now Ryan, blocked by Forest City. It's a point for Forest City. No, they're going to say it wasn't blocked by the Indians. Instead, it goes into the net and back into the arm of Heft. And so 4 hits on Central Springs and a point for Forest City. So the score now is in favor of Central Springs, 9-6. Pardon me, in favor of Forest City, 9-6. As the Indians doing some substituting. And it looks like Geeson is going to come in to serve here for the Panthers. So Geeson will come in and serve. She'll send it over the net, taken by Ryan for Central Springs. McDonough will set. Here's an attack for the Panthers, dug out by Colette Logus. Now Carly Lambert on an attack. Good one there from Lambert. Central Springs keeps it alive. Blocked by Bethany Warren. Here's Colette Logus. Now Jerome on an attack, blocked by Central Springs. Overpass to Central Springs. McDonough, a strike for Central Springs. That was Prozac to the Forest City side. The Indians now give it back to Central Springs. Here's Pippert, taken by Forest City in the middle. Bethany Warren, kept alive by the Panthers. Back to the Forest City side. Here's Carly Lambert on a strike and a kill. Carly Lambert able to find a big one there for Forest City, and they retake the lead 10-6. So the Indians lead 10-6 here in set number 2. Forest City leads 1-0 as the Indians won the first set 25-22. And it's Geeson who will go back to serve again for Forest City. Came into this match 7 of 8 serving. So it only served 8 times this season coming into tonight's match, and now serving for a second time tonight. Geeson is. Been successful on both of her serves. Colette Logus, now Bethany Warren over for Forest City. The Indians had to play that one in the back row. Heft to the Forest City side. Jerome over the net. Kept alive by Central Springs. They cannot get to it afterwards. A touch by Central Springs, a point for Forest City. And the Indians lead by 5. It's 11-6. Timeout Central Springs. It's all Forest City right now. 11-6. Indians will come back here in this A&W Restaurants of Forest City set number 2.
All supports Forest City High School athletics. In a hurry for lunch? No time to cook before the game? Call 585-5000 to place your order for pickup. Shooters will be happy to get your order ready in advance. Shooters Sports Bar and Grill supports the Forest City Indians. Custom Paint and Collision of Forest City. Corey and his staff have nearly 50 years of body shop experience and can fix just about anything on the road. They give free estimates and also carry car batteries and windshield wipers. Located on Highway 69 just south of Forest City, it's Custom Paint and Collision, your body shop.
You're listening to Forest City Indian Sports on Mix 107.3 KIOW and online at KIOW.com.
Welcome back here on at KIOW.com. Zarin Egestal with you from Manly tonight as we are underway with our next point. And it's going to be a point for Central Springs as the Panthers will continue to try to get back here against Forest City. 11-7 is the Forest City lead. Geeson will come out as Emma Anderson will come back in. And the serve here for Central Springs will come over to the Forest City side. Carly Lambert will send it back to Central Springs. Here's McDonough, and a strike. That's Heft, who just served and took into the back row for the Panthers. That is into the net. No, it's going to be blocked. Excuse me. So it'll be a Central Springs block back down to the floor. Heft was there for the Panthers, as was Pate. Pate now has 20 blocks in the season. And it's 8-11. Central Springs back to within 3. Forest City is Lexi Eisenbrand, the freshman. She sends it into the net. And Central Springs back to within 2, 11-9. So back to within 2 here for the Panthers. Forest City made a big comeback in set number 1 to win 25-22. Now can Central Springs come back and find a win here in set number 2. Heft serves, taken by the Indians. Here's a Jaden Jerome strike. Dug out by McDonough. Somebody else is going to have to set it. Now Pippard is going to send it into the ceiling. That one nearly touched the ceiling, which would have been a point for Forest City as it came to the Indians' side, but it just goes underneath the crossbeam there. Comes back to the Forest City side now after Central Springs received. Here's an attack by Jerome. Hello! As Jaden Jerome sends one down for a kill. And Prozac was not expecting that one to come that quickly to her. But Jaden Jerome's got quite the attack there for Forest City, and the Indians' lead is 12-9. So they extend it once again. And we'll see a serve coming here for Jerome. 94.3, 31 aces, 266 successful serves this year coming into tonight for Jerome. Here's Crum, who has been pretty absent so far in this set for Central Springs. The Indians have tried to take her out, 6'2" sophomore. Prozac blocked, and Jerome unable to go get it. Jerome ended up halfway up the Central Springs bench on the far right side. Central Springs on the right side wearing their blue jerseys. Forest City on the left side wearing their gray. And it's now back to a 12-10 Forest City lead. As Crum will come out, and in to serve is Odessa Newhoff. So Odessa Newhoff, the 5'6" junior, wears number 10. She will serve. Only playing in her 3rd set of the season. Jerome will free ball this one over to Newhoff. McDonough will set this one up. Prozac, kill. Paige Prozac winds up and sends that one in. Has had quite the night here for Central Springs. 66 kills on the season coming in, but has 5 already in 2 sets tonight. And Central Springs again back to within 1. It's 12-11. Serve by Newhoff, taken by Forest City, set in the middle to Bethany Warren, blocked by Central Springs, kept alive by the Indians. I don't know how, but they did. Central Springs will set it up now. Prozac with another strike. That's into the net. That's 4 hits, and Forest City will score. It was now blocked by the Indians. Hit into the net, came right back to Central Springs. They touched it for a 4th time. And the Indians' lead once again is 13-11. And Brooklyn Kraft will come in for Forest City and go back to serve. Kraft's had another good night serving. Came in with 174 successful serves this year. 19 aces. McDonough just dumps it. Pretty effective when she dumps it. She's not going to make a lot of errors. And that's in for a kill. Big kill there from Hovinga. McDonough on that setter dump a moment ago. She hits over 500 for Central Springs, almost 600 hitting percentage. So she's not always going to find kills for Central Springs when she dumps it, but very rarely makes an error when she does. With that over 500 hitting percentage, that might have been 4 hits, but they're going to call it a block for Forest City. It'll be a solo block for Bethany Warren. Now back to the Forest City side. Warren will get an attack this time off the new shot clocks. Can Central Springs keep it alive? They cannot. McDonough catches it. Shot clock's already installed here in Manly and Central Springs for the upcoming basketball season. That one hit off one of those shot clocks. And then caught by McDonough. Point Forest City, 15-11. That'll be a fun new experiment. We're only about a month and a couple days away from seeing. That one's sent long by Forest City, now 15-12. As Central Springs and Forest City continue to duke it out here in Manly this evening. Both teams getting ready for postseason appearances. Both teams looking to make runs in postseasons. Bethany Warren finds a kill here for Forest City, make it 16-12. Both teams have big contests on the horizon. Neither team has an easy first-round matchup. Forest City will have to go to Clear Lake. It's a winnable game. Forest City, of course, knows that they can beat Clear Lake, but also know, obviously, a couple of nights ago when Clear Lake defeated the Indians, they know they can be defeated by Clear Lake as well. But on the other hand, the Indians know they can win and move on to take on Union, the number 5 team in Class 3A. McDonough will set, and is it going to be another lift? It is. McDonough called for a lift. 17-12, Forest City's lead is now 5. And we'll see a serve coming here for Riley Miller, the sophomore for the Indians. Left to right, she will serve. Over the net, taken by Ryan. McDonough will set, and it'll be a kill. That's Cameron Cobb, another sophomore outside hitter. It's another sophomore we've seen play now tonight for Central Springs, Cobb. So that's Prozac, Shift, Pippert, Cobb, McDonough, Crum. Every sophomore on this roster has played. There's an attack and a kill for Forest City, now 18-13. Forest City in the lead. 18-13 the lead here for the Indians. And we'll see a serve here coming from Hovinga. Left to right, Hovinga over the net, taken by Newhoff for Central Springs, and it's going to be a kill for Heft. So Heft will get a kill for the Panthers. Makes it 18-14, Central Springs back to within 4. And we'll see a substitution as Shift will come back in. For Central Springs, Newhoff will go out. Odessa Newhoff came in. She served a couple of times, made a couple of nice plays in the back row. Now she comes out. Brooklyn Kraft will receive the serve for Forest City. Jerome on an attack. Tipped by Central Springs. Kept alive. McDonough will set. That's Cobb. Here's Forest City. Jerome blocked by Central Springs and in. Big block there. Heft. She got some help. That's Heft and Shift. With the tandem there. 17th block of the season for Shift. And 33rd block of the season for Heft. 18-15. Forest City still leads by 3. Central Springs, though, making a run. And there's an attack into the net. Now 18-17. Central Springs back to within 1. Pardon me. 18-16. My bad. So 18-16. Forest City still leads by 2. Jerome will tack, but sends it into the net. Now it's 18-17. Central Springs back to within 1. So 18-17. The Central Springs student section across the way. You could probably hear them trying to get into this one. And we'll see a serve here for the Panthers, taken by Jerome. Anderson from the back row will go back to Jerome. She'll have to send it over, and that's a kill. Jaden Jerome will find one. The Indians' lead now is 19-17. Carly Lambert, Colette Logus will come back in for Forest City, or both will come in for Forest City. With the Indians leading 19-17. Again, these teams historically have gone to 5, but Forest City trying to make it 2-0. Central Springs will have something to say about that, though. Here's Cobb on an attack. Blocked by Forest City, kept alive. Carly Lambert now to Jerome. She attacks. Central Springs will have an opportunity. Prozac over. Colette Logus will receive. Carly Lambert on attack. Blocked by Central Springs. It's Heft and Cobb. Cobb finds a block. Heft finds another one. 19-18. Central Springs once again back to within 1. Colette Logus will receive the serve. Carly Lambert in the center. It's going to be a point. Central Springs into the net. Forest City was in the net. And I believe they called Anderson, Julia Anderson, to be in the net. So Forest City and Central Springs now knotted at 19-19 after the Indians led by 6. Prozac sends it over. Kills Central Springs. They lead 20-19. And I believe Forest City calling timeout. They are. Central Springs leads for the first time in this set, 2019. We'll come back in 1 minute.
69 in Forest City wishes good luck to our local athletes. We look forward to seeing you compete. When you need a vehicle, see us at Forest City Ford, where customers really do send their friends.
Grow Electric in Lake Mills is proud to support area athletics and proud to serve our new and returning customers. To get started on any electrical project, big or small, call 641-592-8282. Good luck, athletes, from Grow Electric in Lake Mills.
You're listening to Indian Sports on KIOW and online at KIOW.com.
Welcome back here on KIOW and live at KIOW.com. As Forest City and Central Springs doing battle here in Manly tonight. Central Springs has come back to lead after Forest City led by as much as 6. Jerome with a big strike, but it's an overpass back to Forest City. Kept alive by Central Springs. Now Jerome again, this time turns into a kill, and the Indians have knotted it back up at 20-20. 20-20 our score. As Central Springs and Forest City have knotted this thing back up. Emma Anderson will serve for the Indians, taken by the libero for Central Springs. Ryan, now Cobb. Colette Logus has to go back near the back wall to grab it, and will be sent over by Hovinga. Now McDonough will set it up. Prozac pushes it over, taken by Forest City. Jerome with another attack, blocked by Central Springs. At the net, Forest City will keep it alive. Anderson from the 10-foot line, taken by McDonough. Now Ryan. Here's Prozac, blocked by Forest City, but it's in for a kill. 21-20 Central Springs, back in the lead by 1. As the Panthers will lead over the Indians here in set number 2. Hovinga to Jerome, and that's a kill for the Indians. 21-21. We're knotted back up again. Back and forth these two teams go. And serving for Forest City is Jaden Jerome, the 5'7" junior. And Jerome will serve and send it over the net. Taken there by Ryan. McDonough will set. Pate, and she gets a kill. Abby Pate finds a kill. It's now 22-21 Central Springs. This was the point where Forest City came back in the last set to take the lead for good. Now can Central Springs do that? Or will Forest City make a comeback and take a 2-0 lead? Indians won the first set after a comeback. Central Springs trying to win the second set after a comeback. Prozac from the back row. Taken by Emma Anderson for Forest City. Dumped by Jerome. Here's Prozac on an attack. Taken by the Indians. And it's set from Bethany Warren to Hovinga. McDonough will set to Prozac. Over the net, taken by Forest City. Now Carly Lambert with an attack. That's in for a kill. Carly Lambert with an attack and a kill, and we're tied 22-22. Neither team wants to give up here in this second set, brought to you by A&W Family Restaurants in Forest City. And it is Kraft who's in to serve for Forest City. Lambert comes out. Indians trying to take a 2-0 lead. Central Springs trying to make it 1-1. Battle for it at the nets. And Central Springs gets a kill with Pate. 23-22 Central Springs. Back in the lead. And we'll see a timeout called by the Indians. 23-22. We come back in 1 minute.
Team of Chuck Rubish, Jake Young, and myself, Matt Keel, are your premier and local DeKalb, Asgrow, Agrigold, and NK dealer in Forest City. With a combined over 30 years of seed experience, we're setting a new trend in agriculture at County Line. Call today at 641-581-3300 or visit us off the Airport Blacktop in Forest City.
MBT Bank, with 10 locations across northern Iowa and southern Minnesota. A full-service community bank with checking and savings accounts, CDs, lending, and trust services. Where will you go with MBT? MBTBank.bank, member FDIC.
You're listening to Indian Sports on KIOW and online at KIOW.com.
Welcome back here on KIOW. Here we go. As Central Springs leads 23-22. And Forest City's got to send it over the net. They do with Colette Logus. Taken by Shift, now dumped by McDonough. Here's Hovinga who will send it over. Blocked by Central Springs. Kept alive by the Indians, though. Bethany Warren makes a spectacular save. Blocked by Forest City. Hovinga keeps it alive. Bethany Warren's got to go over. She does. Can Central Springs keep it alive? They can. Emma Anderson for Forest City. Here's a chance now for Hovinga. She sends it long. 24-22 Central Springs. Central Springs now has set point as Hovinga sends it a bit long, 24-22. How exciting is this night already? And now the Panthers are trying to win this set, have set point 24-23. Forest City have to win the next two. And that's a point right there for the Indians. They find one. Kill from Hovinga, 24-23. Indians back to within one. Panther fans thought it was a point for Central Springs, but it was just a really, really good attack by the Indians. And now Forest City is going to have this point. No, it's a service error on Warren. And Central Springs wins the set 25-22. Central Springs wins the set 23-25, excuse me. 23-25 Central Springs. They win the set. Forest City and Central Springs 1-1 as we head to set number 3. Our set number 3 today brought to you by Waldorf University. Waldorf supports our local athletes and looks forward to helping them further their educations and careers. Find out how to become a warrior today at waldorf.edu. We come back in 2.5 minutes.
University in Forest City. With scholarships available up to full tuition, athletics, fine arts, and over 35 clubs and organizations, you'll have the opportunity to find your passion while getting a world-class education. On campus or online, find support from a community that makes you feel at home. Find out more today at waldorf.edu.
Support for Forest City Sports comes from Edward Jones Financial Advisors, Amy Ryan and Patrick Schoenhoven of Forest City. Edward Jones is a financial services firm exclusively serving individual investors, offering a range of investments, including certificates of deposit, stocks, mutual funds, taxable and non-taxable bonds. Additional information available at edwardjones.com. Edward Jones, making sense of investing, member SIPC. Non-taxable bonds may be subject to state, local, or alternative minimum tax.
Richard Family Auto Stores have 2 locations in Forest City to serve Forest City fans. Chrysler of Forest City offers Chrysler, Dodge, and Jeep products, and Forest City Auto Center offers a full line of GM. See Forest City Auto Center on Highway 69 North and Chrysler of Forest City on Highway 69 South.
Ready to sell your home? First Choice Realty is here for you. There are more homes needed to meet the demand of our pre-qualified buyers. Contact Bethany Ferris, Mary Ferris, Barb Rockow, or Teresa Combs at 641-585-2404. First Choice Realty of Forest City.
The 3M Distribution Center of Forest City. The team at 3M wishes our area athletes good luck and good health this season. Like any good team, working together brings out great results on the field or in the warehouse. The 3M Distribution Center of Forest City.
NSB Bank wishes the Indians good luck for the latest financial products and services with a community touch by local decision makers. Stop into your NSB branch location in Titanca, Forest City, Thompson, Mason City, or Northwood. NSB Bank, we're here for you.
Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender.
You're listening to Forest City Indian Sports on Mix 107.3 KIOW and online at KIOW.com.
Welcome back here on KIOW and live at KIOW.com. Our set number 3 today brought to you by Waldorf University. Waldorf supports our local athletes and looks forward to helping them further their educations and careers. Find out how to become a Warrior today at waldorf.edu. 1-1 is the set score. Forest City and Central Springs knotted up. Indians won the first set 25-22. Central Springs came back and won the second set 23-25, and now Central Springs will serve. So Forest City had the momentum after the first set. Now it's Central Springs. Both teams have done it via comebacks. So the Panthers came back in set 2, while Forest City came back in set 1. We also saw the likes of Forest City freshman Hayden Brown in for her first varsity action in that last set as well for Forest City. So we'll see if we see more of Hayden going forward. I've already seen a bunch of her classmate Lexi Eisenbrand this year. Here's an attack for Jaden Jerome off the break for Forest City. McDonough will set now for Pate, and she finds the kill. So Pate and Central Springs lead 1-0 here in set number 1. Pardon me, set number 3. 1-0 lead for Central Springs. Here's the serve over the net. Prozac now sent long by Carly Lambert. It's 1-1. So 1-1 our score, or pardon me, 2-0. As that one was sent long by Carly Lambert to make it 2-0 lead for Central Springs. Jerome with a strike, dug out there on the Central Springs side. McDonough will set it up to shift. Blocked by Central Springs and in. 3-0 Panthers. And here comes the freshman Hayden Brown. And she will come back in for Forest City. 3-0 is the lead for Central Springs. Colette Logus will receive. They're going to set it up in the middle to Bethany Warren. Crum blocks, and she'll take. McDonough. Pate strikes. Big dig by Anderson, but it's an overpass back to Central Springs. Crum with a strike, and she kills it. 4-0 Central Springs. As the Panthers lead early, this is exactly what happened in set number 1, and Forest City had to make a big comeback after trailing by 7. Right now, the Indians only trail by 4. They wouldn't like it to get much bigger. Here's Brown, the freshman. She'll attack. Had her first kill a moment ago. Won't happen this time as it's taken by Central Springs, sent back down to the floor, and the Panthers lead 5-0. It's all Central Springs here in set number 3, 5-0. Jerome will take. Bethany Warren pushed over by the Panthers, and it's down. 6-0 Central Springs all over Forest City here in this third set. a very important third set. The winner will have the first opportunity to win the match. Both teams have taken a set so far. 6-0 Panthers. Here's an attack from Brown. Dug out there by Central Springs. McDonough keeps it alive. Here's Pate. Brown will keep it alive for Forest City. Over by Jaden Jerome. McDonough keeps it alive. Hovinga keeps it alive, and Anderson will push it over. McDonough takes it for Central Springs. Here's Ryan. Crum. Free balls to the Forest City side. Hovinga will set it up to Jerome. Kept alive by Central Springs, but they send it out. Pate does as she goes after that one to the floor, and Forest City will score for a first time in this set at 6-1. Indians trail by 5. Their largest deficit so far in this set has been 6. Largest deficit in the match has been 7. That was in set number 1. And Jaden Jerome will serve here for the Indians. The 5'7 junior sends it over. Taken by Central Springs as Prozac. Now Pate. Blocked by Forest City. Bethany Warren and Brown on the block. Comes back to the Indians. And Hovinga sends it into the net at 7-1. Central Springs back in the lead by 6. 7-1. And we'll see a serve coming here for Carly Ryan, the 5'7 senior libero. Playing in her 79th set of the year. Taken by Hovinga. Jerome. Now Brown over. This is Shift. McDonough. Pate. No, that was half, for Central Springs. Hovinga with a strike for the Indians. Ryan. Pate's got to try to keep it alive. She does. Jerome to Bethany Warren with a big strike, and unable to keep it alive is Pate as she goes crashing into the scorer's table, going after it, but it's a point for the Indians, back to within 5, 7-2. As Brooklyn Kraft will come in and Brown will go out for the Indians. Brooklyn Kraft will serve for Forest City. Sends this one over. McDonough, Colette Logus, Carly Lambert, Lambert, that was Jerome, to Hovinga. Hovinga sends it into the net. Comes back to the Forest City side. 4 hits on the Indians, 8-2. 8-2, Forest City trails by 6. And we'll see a serve taken by Brooklyn Kraft. Set up to Hovinga, that's in for a kill. Hovinga able to find a nice kill for Forest City, makes it 8-3. Back to within 5. Forest City trails 8-3. And we'll see a serve coming here for Anderson. Anderson will serve for Forest City, the junior libero. Sends it over the net. Shift, McDonough, Heft, and I believe she was in the net. She was. So Heft in the net. Forest City back to within 4, 8-4. As Anderson will go back and continue to serve here for Forest City. Shift, McDonough, kept alive by the Indians. Anderson, Colette Logus over. McDonough for Central Springs. Central Springs will free ball to the Forest City side. And into the net. Hovinga sends it into the net. It's now 9-4. 9-4, a 5-point lead for Central Springs. McDonough. Nope, they will switch. McDonough went back to grab the volleyball, but she won't be the one serving. That's Ryan, who will go back to serve now for Central Springs. Floats it, and it hits into the net. Will be a service error and a point for Forest City. Now 9-5, a 4-point lead for the Indians, or for the Panthers over the Indians. Hovinga will serve. And Central Springs, can they return? No. So a point for Forest City. It'll be scored as a net violation on Central Springs. And we'll see a serve here from Hovinga. McDonough will set. This is Heft on the strike, and she will score. So Heft with a kill. It's now 10-6. 10-6 with a lead for Central Springs. by 4. And we'll see a serve over. Central Springs, McDonough will set it up. Now to the Forest City side, Jerome will send it long, and it's now 11-6. A 5-point lead for Central Springs, 11-6 over Forest City here in set number 3. Indians took the first set, Panthers took the second set. And there's a service error on Central Springs. Forest City back to within 4. Heft will come out. Carly Ryan will come back in. And Forest City will serve with Colette Logus. And that's a kill for Central Springs. 12-7 is the lead for the Panthers over the Indians here in set number 3. Winner takes command of this match, and we'll just need one of the next 2 to win it. Taken by Anderson and Forest City. Jerome over. McDonough sets Crum into the net. So Casey Crum serves it into the net, and Forest City 12-8 is their deficit. Central Springs leads by 4. And we'll see a serve coming here for Riley Miller. And it'll be an ace serve. Riley Miller will have her 14th ace serve of the season, the sophomore for Forest City. 12-9. And Miller will go back to serve once again, playing in her 33rd set of the year. McDonough will set this one. Here's an attack for Central Springs. That was Prozac taken by the Indians. Carly Lambert sends it over. Taken by the Panthers. Lambert dive in and try to keep it alive, and no, it's going to be a kill for Central Springs. 13-9. Panthers lead over the Indians, 13-9. And the serve for Central Springs will come out of the hands of Prozac. Paige Prozac, the 5'6 sophomore, sends it over, taken by Emma Anderson. Now Jerome. Forest City has to go over with Carly Lambert. They do. McDonough will set it up. It's going to be Pate on a strike. She kills it. 14-9. Pate with a kill. Another one for Central Springs. Timeout, Forest City. The Indians trail 14-9 here in set number 3. We'll come back in 1 minute.
Appliances wide selection of appliances, brands like Maytag, Whirlpool, KitchenAid, Amana, and JennAir. In stock, plenty of choices, and quick delivery is our goal. McCluskey Appliance in Mason City or Garner. Experience, customer service, and making new relationships is what we're all about. Stop in and see us, follow us on Facebook, or connect with us at McCluskeyAppliance.com.
MBT Bank, with 10 locations across northern Iowa and southern Minnesota. A full-service community bank with checking and savings accounts, CDs, lending, and trust services. Where will you go with MBT? MBTBank.bank, member FDIC.
You're listening to Forest City Indian Sports on Mix 107.3 KIOW and online at KIOW.com.
Welcome back here on KIOW, live at KIOW. Set number 3 tonight, brought to you by Waldorf University, is in favor of Central Springs, 14-9. Colette Logus, Hovinga to Jerome. Crum scores. Indians had it blocked there by Central Springs, and Crum just pushed it to the back row, and it lands in. 15-9, Panthers leading over the Indians. And Prozac will continue to serve. Anderson set by Hovinga. Here's Carly Lambert. And there's a kill for Lambert on the outside. So Carly Lambert finds a kill here for Forest City. Makes it 15-10. And the Indians are back to within 5. Forest City has come back from as much as 7 tonight in set number 1. And they've put themselves in a similar situation here in set 3. Crum with a strike, dug out by the Indians. Jerome, now Anderson. Hovinga sends it over. Taken by Central Springs. McDonough to Pate, and she kills it. No, they're going to call her into the net. Point Forest City, so Pate is in the net. Point for the Indians, make it 15-11. So Pate into the net. Point coming here for Forest City. Panther fans were not amused. Pate pushes it over, taken by the Indians. Anderson, Hovinga. Hovinga now pushes it over after a block. McDonough will send to Crum. Forest City will block. Hovinga over. Ryan keeps it alive. And dumped by McDonough, and she scores. So McDonough with a dump instead of a set, and she scores for Central Springs, finds herself another kill. 55th kill of the year. We mentioned almost 600, hitting almost 600 with those little dumps there for Central Springs this season. Bethany Warren over. She's got another kill. Makes it 16-12. Forest City back to within 4 as Brooklyn Kraft will go back to serve for the Indians. So Kraft will send it over. Central Springs will Forest City will keep it alive. Send to the back row of the Panthers defense. Now Central Springs will free ball back to the Forest City side. They'll set it up to Bethany Warren, who sends it into the net, make it 17-12. Forest City trails by 5 once again. So 17-12, a 5-point lead. And the serve here for Central Springs is taken by the Indians. Clint Logus blocked by the Panthers. And that's a kill for Forest City. Make it 17-13. Forest City back to within 4. As Anderson will serve here for the Indians. And we'll see a serve coming here from Emma Anderson. And an attack and a kill. Haft finds a kill. The 6'2" juniors. They have Central Springs as 6'2" sophomore, 6'2" junior. Some good size up front there for the Panthers. 18-13 now the lead for Central Springs here in set number 3. Hovinga with an attack for Forest City, kept alive. Colette Logus sends it over. McDonough will take. Here's a chance for Anderson. Now Hovinga, and that's a kill for the Indians. Makes it 18-14, so Forest City back to within 4. 18-14 here in set number 3. Indians would like to win this third set. They get themselves up 2-1 instead of Central Springs being up 2-1 and vice versa. Both teams want to win this third set. Sent over by Hovinga. McDonough, and that's a kill for Prozac. Prozac having a good night for the Panthers. She finds a kill, makes it 19-14. And the serve will come here for the Panthers, Heft. So Heft will serve. And it's an ace. So Heft will find a serve and an ace. Timeout Forest City. 20-14, 6-point lead for Central Springs. Will come back in 1 minute.
Of Forest City. Whether it's servicing your 401k, saving for your child's education, or investing for the future. See Matt Jennings or Troy Hall at MBT Investments. Call 585-IRAs. MBT Investments, your partner for your financial journey. Securities and advisory services are offered through LPL Financial, a registered investment advisor and broker-dealer member FINRA/SIPC. Insurance products are offered through LPL or its licensed affiliates. Securities and insurance offered through LPL or its affiliates are not insured by FDIC or any government agency, not bank guaranteed, not bank deposits or obligations may lose value.
You're listening to Indian Sports on KIOW and online at KIOW.com.
Welcome back here to Manley as Jaden Jerome will find an attack. Central Springs will keep it alive. Here's Anderson. Jerome will attack again, and that's a kill for Jaden Jerome, and the Indians have it back to within 5, 20-15. As Hayden Brown will come back in here for the Indians. And Brown will play the front row with Jerome and Julia Anderson. Swift will send this one over for Central Springs. The Indians will set it up to Brown, over, kept alive by Crum and the Panthers. McDonough will feed it right back to Prozac, kept alive. It's a Central Springs point. They're going to call a lift on Brown. 21-15 is the lead. 21-15, a 6-point lead here for Central Springs in the closing stages of set number 3. Serve over, taken by the Indians. Ovinga will set it up to Julia Anderson. She sends it into the net. 4 hits on Forest City. And it's now 22-15. Central Springs in big position here to take this third set. And then Forest City would have to win 2 in a row to win it. Again, the last 4 between these two teams have gone to 5. Jerome sends it long, 23-15. And Central Springs now just 2 points away from taking back-to-back over Forest City and being in the driver's seat to take this set, or take this match, I should say. That one sent long, and a point for the Indians on a service error for Central Springs, make it 23-16. Riley Miller comes in. So Riley Miller is in to serve for Forest City, has 1 ace tonight. And Miller will serve and send it over. McDonough to Crum. Kept alive by Miller in the back row. Now Jaden Jerome sends it over. Is that on the line and in? It is. On the line and in. It's going to be a kill for the Indians. 23-17, Forest City has got back-to-back points, and the Indians are back to within 5, 23-17. Need to make a run out of this one. As we'll see a serve here by Riley Miller. Miller sends it over. Crum on the line and in. Good kill there by Crum. 24-17. Central Springs back to a 1 point is all they need for the set to win back-to-back. Anderson. Jerome sends it over. It's going to be a point for Forest City as Central Springs is in the net. 24-18. And the Indians will serve 24-18. Jerome will do the serving. McDonough. Pate sends it over, kept alive by Anderson. Now Logus. Bethany Warren will free ball to the Central Springs side. Crum blocked by Forest City. And they're going to call Central Springs into the net. So the Panthers are in the net. Make it 24-19. Central Springs is not agreeing with these net calls, but we've got 2 of the finer officials you're going to get in North Iowa here tonight, and so they're right on top of things. State tournament officials here this evening. Here's a chance for Pate. Sends along. Forest City has got it back 24-20. Indians within 4. Still need 4 straight points to send this to extras here in set 3. But are on the right track now. 24-20. Central Springs leads. Jerome sends it over. Taken by Crum. Now Carly Ryan. Pate to the Forest City side. Jerome. Emma Anderson. Now Hovinga over. Blocked by Central Springs. That's in. It's a point for the Panthers, and they take the set 25-20. Central Springs takes the set 25-20. Indians will need to win the next 2. Sets 4 and sets 5. We'll come back and see if they can do so in 2.5 minutes.
And being part of a team is a great way to learn lessons for life. And learning is what NIAC is all about, beginning with high school juniors and seniors who can start building college credits now for free. Learn more at niac.edu.
Forest City Auto is your Napa Auto Care Center where we work on all types of vehicles and guarantee our work with a 2-year part and labor warranty. With free pickup and delivery, we're the place to call. And if you don't talk to Cheyenne or Lorena, you've called the wrong place. Forest City Auto.
Hy-Vee in Forest City is a proud supporter of the Forest City Indians. Stop in and check out their pharmacy. It's built for you. No waiting in lines for the pharmacy. The pharmacy will be waiting for you. Hy-Vee is your full-service, employee-owned grocery store here in Forest City. Go Indians from Hy-Vee. Malin Egg Service of Forest City is a proud supporter of Forest City High School athletics. Nate Malin is with you from the word go. From planting to harvest, you can count on Nate. Contact him today in Forest City at 641-860-1712. Nate will help you put the right seed on your acres. 641-860-1712. After serving the Forest City community for over 50 years, Wilson Dental is now expanding to serve you better. We look forward to seeing you at our Forest City and our Garner location. Wilson Dental, where your smile is our reward.
Miller Pharmacy has complete prescription services. Free delivery in town, by mail, along with curbside pickup located at the Mercy One Clinic in Forest City. Miller Pharmacy is also open Saturday mornings and gladly accepts Visa, MasterCard, and Discover. Call ahead and your script refill will be ready for you. No need to wait. Miller Pharmacy of Forest City.
FCIS Insurance is proud to support our local athletes throughout the year. Let FCIS be your partner, not just your agent, helping you with all your insurance needs. With multiple carriers, we can get you the best coverage for the best price. Call us today at 800-331-1520. Good luck, Indians, from FCIS Insurance.
You're listening to Forest City Indian Sports on Mix 107.3 KIOW and online at KIOW.com.
Welcome back here on KIOW and live at KIOW.com. Zern Eggestal with you tonight from Manly. Springs in Forest City doing battle in volleyball action this evening. As the Indians and the Panthers going to set number 4 with Central Springs leading 2-1. Forest City will need to win this set 4 and then win set 5. But as we found out before, once you get into set 5, it really doesn't matter what's happened the rest of the match, as that's out. Forest City will lead 1-0 here in set number 4. And once you get to set number 5, it really doesn't matter what's happened the rest of the night. It kind of just whoever gets hot in set 5 is going to be the victor. So that's what Forest City is trying to do, is get that one. Central Springs would rather end this in 4, and there's a kill for Crum, make it 1-1. So 1-1 is our score, as Forest City and Central Springs have both scored. Point Forest City, as they had already given Central Springs the ready for serve sign, and then the Panthers tried to substitute. So the Indians are going to get the point, going to get a point and a serve. And we'll see if they issue, could be an automatic, I don't know if that's an automatic, is that a yellow card or not? Or is it just a point? I didn't see a yellow card get flashed at all. So now Forest City will serve. So that's what's going to be our whistle and our call here, as Central Springs had been given the ready for serve, and then the Panthers tried to substitute. So it'll be a point for Forest City in that regard, and the Indians will lead now 2-1. Did not see the yellow card come out, as this one will be pushed over by the Panthers, by the Indians to the Panthers side. And that's in the antenna of the pin there shaking, so that's going to be a point for Forest City again, now 3-1. So the Indians leading over Central Springs here in set 4, 3-1. Again, as we mentioned before, the last 4 between these two teams have gone to 5, and Forest City needs to get it to 5 to win tonight. Central Springs can win in 4. Pushed over by Hovinga. Right back to Colette Loga. She just tips it over. Kept alive by the Panthers. Here's a strike by Pate, taken by Forest City. Here comes Hovinga. Prozac for Central Springs. Now to Pate. She strikes, and Brooklyn Kraft with a good attempt. And Jaden Jerome about took our R2 into the scorer's table with her. As those two both went about crashing into the scorer's table. As Jerome was making extra effort after that one. 3-2, Indians lead over Central Springs in set 4. Here's a chance for Colette Logus. Kept alive by Central Springs. McDonough will dump it. Jaden Jerome for the Indians will take now back to Logus. Logus pushes it over. Here's a chance for Anderson. Anderson now Jerome. Blocked by Jaden Jerome. Point, they're going to say that Jaden Jerome was behind the antenna when she hit that one. 3-3. 3-3 our score here in set number 4. Indians led 3-1. Central Springs has scored the last 2. And now we got a whistle and a lift called on Jerome, so 4-3. Back to the lead is Central Springs, leading 4-3 here in set number 4. And we'll see a serve coming for Carly Ryan. Julia Anderson, blocked by Central Springs, put back over by Jerome. McDonough to Pate, and she kills it. 5-3, Central Springs has it to a 2-point lead. 5-3 here in set number 4. And officials time, they're going to look for a towel. Doesn't look like there is any here. I'm surprised with there's obviously no air conditioning, just a bunch of ceiling fans running in this gym tonight. And the doors, both doors that lead straight out of bounds from the gym are open to try to let some airflow in here. But it is so warm in here that there's extra moisture on the floor. And usually some towels laying around near the court. There wasn't, so our pause is to go find some towels here to try to dry up the floor a little bit. As we mentioned, it's extra hot in here, and it's a super not warm evening out there, but it's definitely not cold by any means. As there's a kill from Hovinga to get Forest City back to within 1, so we're back to play now as Hovinga finds the kill 5-4. And we've found some extra towels near the floor now in case the floor gets a little damp again. Heft sends it long. Touch. Yeah, there was nobody near that. I'm sure that line judge got her. I think the line judge got her signals mixed up there. But either way, that's what they have to go with, is what the line judge whistled. So it's going to be a touch on Forest City and a point for Central Springs. Now the Panthers come back. It's going to turn into a 2-point swing here for the Panthers. Now 7-4. Oof, that's a tough one. And we'll see a serve coming. McDonough will serve. Colette Logus sends it over. And that's going to be a touch against Forest City. Make it 8-4. And McDonough will continue serving here for the Panthers. Colette Logus, now Jerome. Hovinga sends it over, taken by Central Springs off a block, and a strike, and that one is out, and a point for Forest City. And now Central Springs mad at their own line judge. So Forest City was just mad at the Central Springs line judge a moment ago because they didn't think it was a touch, and now Central Springs mad at their own same line judge. 8-5 is the score. I guess it balances out that way. That other point should have been Forest City's. That point should have been Central Springs. So it all works out in the world. It all balances out to an 8-5 Central Springs lead. And Riley Miller will go into the net and make it 9-5. And a 4-point lead here for the Panthers. Ryan is in. This is Elian Ryan. Carly Ryan, the libero. Elian Ryan is the defensive specialist. Also can play libero for Central Springs. They can play either one, both with normal jersey and libero jersey numbers. Forest City will find a kill back to within 3. It's 9-6. And a 3-point lead for the Panthers as Forest City will go back to serve with Colette Logus. Logus will send this one over, taken by Carly Ryan. Now Prozac. Heft will push it to the Forest City side. Riley Miller will set it up in the middle to Bethany Warren. That's a kill for Bethany Warren, and Forest City is back to within 2, 9-7. So just want to look like Forest City was fading away here in set 4. The Indians have battled back to make it 9-7. Here in the fourth set, Forest City took the first set. Central Springs took 2 and 3. Panthers will find a kill there on a touch by Forest City, 10-7. Is a 3-point lead for Central Springs and the Panthers. And Heft will go back to serve. 86% server, and she hit Crum in the back. As Heft will run up and apologize to her middle hitter, Casey Crum, who was staring at the net and all of a sudden gets clunked in the back with the volleyball. 10-8 is a 2-point lead for Forest City. For Central Springs. With the Indians serving. And there's a kill. From the right side, that was Cameron Cobb, the 5'7" sophomore outside. She hits one from the right side there and finds a kill. To make it 11-8. Cobb will now serve. Anderson will take. Here's Riley Miller. Here's Brown, Hayden Brown, the Indians freshman. And that's over. It'll be a kill for Central Springs. Make it now 12-8. Panthers lead. And we'll see a serve coming for Central Springs. Riley Miller in the middle to Geeson. In for Forest City. Here's an attack for Prozac. Anderson, Riley Miller in the middle. Geeson pushes it over, taken by McDonough. Prozac for Central Springs to the Forest City side. Riley Miller will set it up to Jerome, kept alive by Crum. And now Central Springs will get it back as Forest City will send it over. McDonough to Crum, and that's sent long, and it's a Forest City point, 12-9. So the Indians trailing 12-9 here in set number 4. Central Springs leads the set and leads the match 2-1. Indians have to win this 4th set to send us to a 5th set for a 5th straight year. Jaden Jerome will serve left to right for Forest City. Crum with a strike and a kill. 13-9 is the lead now for Central Springs. Trying to close this one out in 4. As Pate will come back in. And Elian Ryan will come out. Jerome. Hayden Brown sends it into the net. 14-9. A 5-point lead for Central Springs here in set 4, 14-9. As we'll see a serve coming from Prozac. Anderson. Jerome. Now Brown will just have to shovel it over. McDonough sends it into the net. Something you don't see very often from McDonough. an error when she tries to dump it over as a setter. She does a really good job. We mentioned hitting almost 600 this year as McDonough when she just dumps it instead of sets it. And she does not miss hit very often. That time she does, and Forest City back to within 4. Kraft will serve. Crum with a big strike taken by the Indians. Hovinga over, blocked by Central Springs. It's a tandem block there from Crum and McDonough. And the Panthers lead once again is 5, 15-10. And we'll see a serve coming for Ryan. So Ryan will serve, send over, taken by Brooklyn Kraft. Kept alive by Central Springs. Pate, and it's a kill. 16-10, Panthers lead by 6. Trying to beat Forest City for a second straight year since 2008. Central Springs has not beaten Forest City in back-to-back years. Trying to do it here as the Indians lead the series since 2008, 13-3. Point Central Springs as Lexi Eisenbrand's attack is from behind the pin. And it's now 17-10. It's all Central Springs. They lead Forest City 17-10 here in set 4, trying to win it in 4 sets tonight. Here's an attack by Geeson. And it is a touch on Central Springs and a point for Forest City. So Geeson will find a kill, and now she will go back to serve. Again, Brenna Geeson only had 8 serves on the entire year coming into tonight. And now she's serving for a second time this evening. She sends it over, taken by Central Springs. They will return. Forest City in the middle to Bethany Warren, blocked. It's a solo block by Heft. Her 21st solo block of the year, her 34th block altogether this year, and Central Springs leads 18-11 here in set 4, leading the match 2-1. Anderson receives Jerome. Here's Eisenbrand, unable to catch up to it. Point, Panthers 19-11. Timeout, Forest City. It's Panthers 19, Indians 11. We'll come back for more volleyball in 1 minute.
Top Dead Center is a full-line Western dealer with blades and snow control equipment. They also carry truck accessories of all kinds, fifth wheel hitches, LED lights, and more. Call 641-512-5529. Top Dead Center Truck Equipment in Forest City.
WCTA is committed to providing local phone service, high-speed internet, and the most reliable digital TV. They proudly support local schools, events, and charities. Their employees are your friends and neighbors who live and work in your community. WCTA is your local telecommunications cooperative.
You're listening to Forest City Indian Sports on Mix 107.3 KIOW and online at KIOW.com.
Welcome back here to Manly. Central Springs High School 19-11. Central Springs leading over Forest City as the Indians trying to come back and send this to a 5th game. Central Springs trying to win it here in 4, leading 19-11. Colette Logus sends it long, and it's now 20-11. One thing Forest City has already assured, as they are guaranteed their 11th winning season under head coach Lacey Jerome in her 12th season for Forest City. Have 10 winning seasons under Jerome, looking for number 11. She's only had 1 losing season in her career at Forest City. And they've already secured that this with some wins coming up. Indians right now 20-12 is the lead for Central Springs. Point for the Panthers as that one is in. 21-12. And we'll see Central Springs serving again. 21-12 is the lead for the Panthers. Trying to defeat Forest City here. Jerome sends it over. Taken by Central Springs. Heft. Colette Logus to the back row. Ryan. And it's going to be a point for Central Springs. A lift called on Forest City. 22-12 now the lead. A 10-point lead here for Central Springs. 3 points away from victory over the Indians tonight. Miller. Jerome over. McDonough will send it to half dug out by Brooklyn Kraft. Now Bethany Warren, and a point for Central Springs as they're going to call Colette Logus for going underneath the net, or the ball went underneath the net after Colette hit it. 23-12, 2 points away is Central Springs from winning tonight over Forest City. Jerome will set this one up, or get it to Miller. Miller will set this one up. And a point for the Panthers as a lift is called on Forest City, make it 24-12. It is set and match point for Central Springs, 24-12. Serve over taken by Jerome. Riley Miller sets this one up to Colette Logus over. Taken by Central Springs. McDonough will set. Cobb trying to finish it. She does. So Cameron Cobb will get the final kill, and Central Springs will defeat Forest City 25-12 in the final set as the Panthers beat Forest City for a second straight year. Last year was in 5. This year is in 4. We'll take a break. We'll come back in 2 minutes for the post-game show and the NBT Bank Player of the Game in 2 minutes.
Construction Services is a proud supporter of trades-based education programs like apprenticeships, the Building Trades Academy at the John V. Hansen Career Center, and internships through NIAC. These programs also have debt-free options available. Find out more by calling Kingland Construction Services at 641-585-0101.
Forest City Family Dentistry downtown on J Street. Dr. Layla can now place crowns in one visit. No clumsy temporary or return appointment needed. Also ask us about replacing missing teeth with affordable dental implants. Visit the place that puts a smile on your face. Forest City Family Dentistry. Call 585-4636.
NBT Bank with 10 locations across northern Iowa and southern Minnesota. A full-service community bank with checking and savings accounts, CDs, lending, and trust services. Where will you go with NBT? NBTBank.bank, member FDIC.
The Farmers Co-op of Forest City, Leyland, New Buffalo Center, Iowa, and Keystone, Minnesota for all your feed, seed, fertilizer, chemical, and fuel needs. See the Farmers Co-op, serving the area since 1916. Good luck to area athletes from the Farmers Co-op Association.
Waldorf University in Forest City. With scholarships available up to full tuition, athletics, fine arts, and over 35 clubs and organizations, you'll have the opportunity to find your passion while getting a world-class education. On campus or online, find support from a community that makes you feel at home. Find out more today at waldorf.edu.
Advanced Door Systems of Forest City. Advanced Door Systems is your Raynor and CHI overhead door dealer. They also service any make or model of overhead door. Call 641-585-1900 or see them online at ads-doors.com. Advanced Door Systems, the right door, the right way.
The County Line C team of Chuck Rubish, Jake Young, and myself, Matt Keel, are your premier and local DeKalb, Asgrow, AgriGold, and NK dealer in Forest City. With a combined over 30 years of seed experience, we're setting a new trend in agriculture at County Line. Call today at 641-581-3300 or visit us off the Airport Blacktop in Forest City.
You're listening to Forest City Indian Sports on Mix 107.3 KIOW and online at KIOW.com.
Welcome back here on KIOW and live at KIOW.com from Manly. This is the County Line Seeds postgame show. County Line Seeds is located off the Airport Blacktop in Forest City. Not happy with what you're seeing in the fields right now? Give Jake, Matt, or Chuck a call today at 641-581-3300 or visit them in the industrial park on the south side of Forest City. Again, that's County Line Seeds, the sponsor of today's postgame show here between Forest City and Central Springs. Well, it was a lot of up and down volleyball being played tonight here between Central Springs and Forest City, as we saw runs from both teams. You saw runs from Forest City, you saw runs from Central Springs, kind of just going back and forth between these two teams, and at certain times in every set, it really felt like one team had more momentum than the other teams, and really could have gone either way in a lot of these sets. I think in the fourth set was a little bit more all Central Springs, but really I think in the first three sets there was momentum and points in which the set could have gone to Forest City. The set could have gone to Central Springs in the first, second, and third set. The first set did go to Forest City as the Indians came back, trailed at 1 point by 7 in that set, and were able to come back and win 25-22. Then Forest City led in the second set before Central Springs made a comeback to win 25-23. The Panthers won set 4, 25-20. Set 3, 25-20, and then they win 3 in a row as they defeat Forest City in the fourth set. Really the only set that felt like all the momentum was on one side. It was Central Springs 25 and Forest City 12 here in 4 sets tonight. Mentioned the last 4 between these two teams had gone to 5. This one only goes to 4 this evening. Forest City will fall to 15-10 on the season. Central Springs will improve to 18-13 on the year. And again, we talked about both teams will go into postseason play next week. We've got all that information for you online at KIOW.com. The Indians on the 17th open up at Clear Lake, where Central Springs on the 19th will open up here in town against the Appleton-Parkersburg Falcons. Again, our postgame show is brought to you by County Line Seeds. This brings us to our NBT Bank Player of the Game. Based in Forest City, brings you tonight's Player of the Game. NBT Bank has 10 North Iowa and Southern Minnesota locations to serve you. Checkings, loans, savings, and more. NBT Bank is your bank. See them online at nbtbank.com. A couple of defensive players I'm going to go with tonight. We'll give it to a couple of defensive players for Forest City that I feel like have just been really solid. Were solid tonight for Forest City and have been solid throughout the year. I think Emma got it once already this year, but serving at a 93.4% this year, and Brooklyn Kraft serving at 94.6, almost 95%. Both of them had another good night tonight, so we're going to give it to those two classmates, those two juniors. Brooklyn Kraft and Emma Anderson are tonight's NBT Bank Players of the Game. NBT Bank, based in Forest City, brings you tonight's Player of the Game. Again, that's going to conclude our broadcast tonight here from Manly as Forest City falls to Central Springs 3-1. We're back tomorrow night for Warriors Live, the Waldorf Warriors Coaches Show from 7 to 8 p.m. at the Paddlers Tap in Forest City. Final set scores once again was Forest City winning the first set 25-22. Central Springs takes the next 3, 25-23, 25-20, and 25-12. I want to thank John Lentz back at the studio for his hard work. He was our studio engineer this evening. Dusty was on cameras for us tonight. We appreciate that as well. If you heard a sponsor on tonight's broadcast, go out, patronize those businesses, and tell them you appreciate their support of Forest City India High School Athletics. We'll see you from the Paddlers Tap at 7 o'clock tomorrow night. I'm Zarin Egestal saying good night from Manly.
NBT Bank, with 10 locations across